Hey guys, it's Jonathan from the Howard Hospitality Group. Welcome to another Meet the Industry. Today I'm super excited because I got to meet this lady last year at MBVA and fell in love with her, and I got to hang out with her again this year. Tonight I have with me Jennifer from JennVend, and she is with me tonight, and we're going to talk about her story and some of her ideas on what's going on in the industry. So welcome to Meet the Industry.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So usually I kind of do some funny questions and then I do some serious questions. And so I usually always break the ice because we're all kind of amusement video game people in this
Mhm.
industry. And so the first question I always ask everybody is, what was your favorite or what is your favorite video game of all time or amusement game and why?
So, my favorite video game of all time is probably Crash Bandicoot
Ooh.
from PlayStation. Um, we had a Sega originally, and I really liked Sonic, but I have to say I beat Crash Bandicoot, and I don't know, I just have it holds a special place because I did beat it.
Yeah, and it's one of those games that I mean you can play it again and you find more stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can go through and there's stuff you missed. But I played every single one of those. So if there one came out, I mean, I love that game. And I think it's the comedy of it because it was like
Yeah.
very lighthearted and goofy and the animations in between and stuff made it fun. And it wasn't even though it was like a platforming style, and it was also cool because you were behind them, which was kind of neat, but it was still 360. But it wasn't boring. Like it never was boring. And there was always something going on or a funny character doing something funny.
Yeah, I
So I
loved
love that.
how like weird he was. That was
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
Yeah. And the weird noises.
yeah. Right? The sound effects,
Yeah.
yeah, they're always really good. True.
Yeah.
So tell us your story about how you got started vending.
So my story starts before I was even born. My dad and my grandpa both have been in this industry for, uh, well, my dad since the 60s, and my grandpa around the same time. They kind of got into it together. When my dad was in college, um, he bought a few locations or a few machines and put them out, and then he bought more routes. And my grandpa and grandma were retired at the time, and so they got like a pretty big route, and they did it for fun, and they did like penny gumballs, and they had lots of like fraternities and sororities at Oregon and Oregon State that they would go put machines at,
That's
and
smart.
they used to tell lots of stories about it. Um, but I grew up like with the spray bottle of cleaner and the towels, and that was my job pretty much like when I could walk around and do stuff. I was pretty like wanting to be involved. But my mom would go around in service with me strapped to her chest. And so it was kind of like a family affair. And then my dad has been doing it this whole time, but I kind of didn't do much with it in high school, and then went off to college and then came back, and I had little odd end jobs and was helping him with his route and found out that I was better at fixing machines than he was.
That's
And so that's just kind of how it started. I bought my first spiral, and then I just kept buying more and more equipment. And then in my area, a couple people were trying to retire. And so I bought their routes and I learned a lot from them. But yeah, that's kind of how my story started was um, right after college, getting back into it. I didn't think I wanted to work for Major League Baseball or in marketing in the sports kind of atmosphere. But yeah, that's kind of my background on vending.
Did
I'm
you go to
mostly a
school?
bulk
Oh, sorry.
vendor. That
Yeah,
probably should
so
be. I do have about 30 cranes, but the majority of my route is toys. I really try to get away from candy, but it's toys and stickers, 1 inch and 2 inch capsules, and
nice.
lots of gum.
Lots of gum.
Yeah, lots of gum.
By the pallet of gum,
Yes.
right?
Like, and
Yeah.
I'm not a. So it's funny because my dad did a lot of candy, and I do not like candy. And it's probably because I've been around candy so much, but it's not my thing. I don't like it, and so it's not a part of vending that I like.
We were talking because we got some candy machines too, and that was kind of the first. We started with full line, but then we got into bulk because it was cheap. It was inexpensive to get in, and so we bought a bunch of those three bay candy machines from
Yeah,
Candy
like
Machines,
the
and
triple heads.
yeah, the triple heads, and Amelia really liked it because she didn't have to go check it very much. We just go like once every 3 weeks or so.
Yes.
But we were just talking about maybe, switching that up and doing little toys and stuff instead of candy, just because we thought we'd go through the candy a lot quicker than we do, but we don't. It still makes good money, but the candy's in there a long time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and it's not a very long shelf life, and the price of candy is just it's getting gross. It's like a container of M&Ms now is like I don't know, $15.99.
Yep.
And
We just bought some.
yeah, and back like 4 years ago it was $9.99.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Or $7.99, but even before that. But yeah, so it's not my favorite thing to do.
So, do you like doing the cranes more than you like doing the bulk?
I like both. I would say that I'm getting pushed more to the cranes because that's the direction of where our industry is headed.
Mm-hmm.
But I make just as much money off of my bulk as I do a crane. And I have a lot less issues with my bulk. And I think that parents see a real value in like giving their kids the quarters to get an item. And I see why people do a play every time because there is that value of a kid getting an item.
Right.
Although a lot of my cranes are not one every time.
Yeah.
But I really do like bulk, and that's kind of where my heart's at. But I'm having fun with the cranes and like my seminar on merchandising. That's really where I find the fun, and that's the whole thing with vending is I try to have it be fun every day. Otherwise, this industry would just annihilate you.
Oh yeah.
And you really just have to find the fun. And so like I think you're gonna ask me later about this, but like I love donuts. And so like I like putting stuff in machines that I think kids will like and what I think is cool, or I like the idea of finding the next trend. So like that's something that gets me excited about vending.
Well, and you and I talk all the time, and that was the thing we were talking about the other day with that new chainsaw, plush that's coming out and that show that's on Netflix, and we're like, that's gonna be it, that's like the new thing, and we're all excited about it. And I think that's something that Amelia is really good at too. Like she knows what kids like, and so it's kind of like having an in for us because she already knows. She's like, oh yeah, that's gonna kill it, I know those are gonna do well, and
Well,
and
and I was talking to a card shop owner last night, and he's like, yeah, that's like the hottest thing right now is the Chainsaw Man. And I had kind of mentioned it to him like a couple months ago, and he's like, yeah, we have a few things. And last night when we were servicing, he's like, yeah, you called it.
Yeah, and when we both talked about it, and we're like, oh, that's it, And then I didn't order any, and I shoot myself like daily for not ordering because I ordered that big order, and I'm like, oh. So we're ordering some now, but it's like we feel like we're almost too late, Like it's trending right now. Yeah. So I'm hoping we don't miss out on it, but we have it in our order that's coming up, so we can get some because it just looks. I mean, it looks like it'll be popular, and I know the show. my oldest son, he's a big into anime, and he's like, "Oh yeah," he goes, "That's it. That's the thing." And Amelia says, "I've seen it, but I didn't know what it was." So they already know that it's around,
Yeah, I didn't
So
even know what it was, but I was like, I'm starting to see all this stuff like out of China that's like, it's got this little orange dude, and he's gonna kill it, literally.
yeah, it's pretty cool, and it does. And I think that if you're not in this industry and having fun, then you got a problem. I mean, it's just we went to our one of our restaurants it was last night actually, and we went to go fill her machines and check on them, and it's a big location for us that does really well. And she's got a mini claw and in the new Galaxy in there. She's got a Pokemon machine with Pokemon cards, and then she has a Pokeball machine.
That's the
And
Logan's, isn't it?
yeah, it's a Logan, that place just kills it. And we sat there, and that machine never there was not kids at it. And it's a Tuesday night. The restaurant's packed of a Tuesday night. We're like, what is going on? And he's like, it's like that all the time here. And he's like, your machines are so popular, and like we just get so much joy out of watching people play. And there was a little boy, and like he was having trouble turning the Pokeball machine, and so she ran over there and helped him turn it, and and it was just like it's just fun. Like it's just so much fun, and we have a blast. And like Amelia loves the kids, and if they don't win, she always gives them something. And at Logan's, they play it. They use their tips, and they go and they play the machine and win prizes, and then they put them up on the podium. And then if the kid doesn't win something, they give them one of their prizes that they won. And it's just a cool atmosphere and a lot of fun. And I mean, you can't not have fun. I mean, it's just, we're just so excited. We're excited about the fairs. We're excited about all the stuff we're doing. And I know you've got a large route all down one of the major freeways. And I know that, I mean, like, you must see all types of people playing your machines all the time. Like, it must be really cool.
There's two sides to the coin. So I love watching little kids get so excited, and I do the same thing when I see a little kid like struggling. I like help them, and I also think it's so interesting that like little kids, like some of them have never been told what that is, or they don't even know what it is, but they want it. And I think that is so awesome. But I also have a hard time watching when kids kick stuff or mess with the machines. So a lot of times, if I do eat at the place, I eat so I can't watch it. I do like watching it a little bit. Like my grandparents, they used to talk about, oh, we get a pizza and we just sit there and it's like our entertainment for the night. We just like love watching all the little kids come play our machine and us making money as we eat dinner. So I do appreciate that, and I do love seeing little kids, and when they'll walk by and be like, oh, I want that, like you're just like, yes, I picked out the right item. Like
that was what we were doing last night, and we were all sitting at the table because we were only a couple areas over, and we were watching the machine. And that was the big thing of like, we were kind of had a little competition going between the four of us of like, what are they going to want? Like because we picked out all these toys, and we didn't know what was going to be popular and what wasn't. And like they pulled it out, and one of the kids, like Sam, my middle son, he's like, I told you, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like he's like totally
into it.
And I'm like, I go, you're right. I thought for sure it was going to be the coin purse, but and he's like, no, I knew they wanted that keychain. He's like, I could tell you it was going to be that keychain. It's just
like pick your own adventure when you see someone.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's their life like? What are they gonna choose?
But I get and I'm a little kid at heart still. I'm old, but I get so excited, and like in my brain, because I'm older, like I'm thinking, what are they gonna do with that when they leave? What are they? How many other kids are they gonna see that keychain at school or whatever? They're like, oh yeah, I wanted the claw machine at Logan's, or whatever it is, and it's like. I remember how excited I was when I won little stuff like that when I was a kid, and like I held on to it. Like I had it like on my dresser, and you know what I mean? Like it was a big deal to me. So that's kind of what goes through my head is like, how excited is that kid? And when he gets home, is he just going to throw it on the floor and leave it? Or is he going to be like taking it, you know what I mean? Attaching it to a backpack, or like, what's he going to do with it? And Because some kids, they just get something and they get it and they're excited for like 5 minutes and then they throw it on the floor and then it's over, you know. But a lot of kids, like, they get super excited. So I don't know.
Well, I remember distinctly, like, 6th grade, I had like the homie hookup because my dad had all these toys. And so, like, kids would bring stuff into class and I'd be like, I have like 1,000 of those sitting in the room, like 4 doors down from my room, like.
So
or like those like glitter tattoo or those diamond tattoos that were really popular then. Like, I had those. I was the cool kid because I had all of the stuff. And yeah, that it's pretty funny how like trends that are popular with that age group, a lot of it is cultivated by vending and other things. Like it's this weird dichotomy of where is this trend starting and like has the trend passed and vending is still selling it, and so you're hitting those younger kids, or are we selling it and then it's like making the rounds? So there are the two types of trends, and it's a pretty interesting. Yeah, I find that interesting with.
Well, it reminded me when I was a kid, because like Garbage Pail Kids were huge when I was a kid, and they were sold only at one place in town. It was one gas station that you could go to, and they had Garbage Pail Kids. And then Mad Balls were really popular, and they were only sold at this other place you could get in town, which was like the liquor store had the Mad Balls, you know. And so like everybody was like, huh?
What is that? I'll have to look it up.
Which one? The Garbage Pail Kids or the
well, both. I mean, the Garbage Pail Kids kind of like, is it just like figurines of kids?
No, so they were actually, I think Tops. Was it Tops that came out with the Garbage Pail Kids? But they were like, it sold like baseball cards, and it was a packet, and there was, I think it was like over 100 something different Garbage Pail Kids, and basically it was like Snotty Sam, and it was a picture of this kid with like droopy snot and like picking his nose, and it was a sticker, but you know, you collected them like you would baseball cards, and it came with gum, so it was a pack, just like, and there was like 5 in a pack, and they were like, you had to have them all, you know what I mean? It was like Pokemon, like you had to catch them all. And so you had to have the whole kit, and you wouldn't use your stickers until you had the whole set, and then you could actually start.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so like that was the thing in schools.
Can we bring that back? I feel like
I would love to. I wish they would come back, because when I was a kid, they were huge. I mean, kids would. I mean, you go nuts, and they sell for a lot right now. If you go on eBay, you can get the sets of them. And they'll still, like, some people still have them in sealed packages and stuff, and they're worth money. But and then the Mad Balls were just rubber balls. They were, you know, inflatable rubber balls, but they were like basically like little like monsters that had like their eyeballs hanging out and like whatever, and they were like, you know, gross balls. They were called Mad Balls, and they were just, and there was a bunch of those too. So there was like, I don't know how many Mad Balls, and you had to have all the Mad Balls, and those were popular when I was a kid too. But all these things like that is what it reminds me of. But it's like, I think of like the other day, I had basically, we got all those toys from China that we ordered, and they all came, and we unwrapped them all. We laid them out on the garage, and then we separated them into boxes, you know. And so then the other night, I had Sam and Amelia go out and take and open up each box and grab like 4 or 5 handfuls of each thing and throw it in one tub, or actually 2 tubs, and make a mix. So then they could just throw it in a bag and go out and fill the machines. So I go out there, and they're on their phone, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, you know, like, you need to start doing, and they're like, oh, we're selling some stuff. And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, $5 each. And they were selling the toys on their phones to their friends, and they were taking pictures. And they're like, how many do you want? Like, you know, and like Sam sold like $15 worth, and Amelia sold like $10 worth of stuff to their friends. And I'm like, that's fine. I said, but you know, you get half and I get half and whatever, and we'll put it back into the business, but you get the rest. And they were selling it. I'm like, that's really cool. You know, like they've got that entrepreneur, like on their own, they figured out, well,
that's awesome.
This stuff costs us 30 cents and I can sell it for $5, and they would sell it, you know, or the kids could have a chance in the machine for $1. So like, they're like, I'd just rather buy it for $5, you know. So they were selling it.
The king of doing that was he used to be he's in Arizona, Dylan McDougal. He used to do that when fidgets were like the hot thing. He sold the heck out of them, like in his machines, but like he knew about it way before they were even popular. And so he was doing something similar. He was still in school, and so he was selling them to all the kids at school for like $5-10, and then making all his money back on his shipment from China, like just on selling it to kids at school. So
that's so cool.
They got that entrepreneurial gene.
I thought that was really cool. I was really proud of him. I'm like, well, first I was kind of like, well, you think you would ask me, if it was okay. But I was like, you're still making more money than we are in the machine, so it's fine, But like, they were just selling it to all their friends. So I guess Sam had a girl that he's been talking to, and so he was sending her pictures of the cute stuff. And she's like, oh, I want one of those, and I want one of these. And one of them was the little Yoda that's actually behind you, right there on your shelf. I see him, the little Grogu. Yeah. And she wanted one of those. She was all excited about it. And she's like, what else do you have? And he goes, a lot. He just told me the story. And she's like, how much? And he's like, a lot. And she's like, well, and she's like, well, send me pictures. So I guess for like 30 minutes, he's out there like opening tubs and like taking pictures. And I'm like, Amelia's like, I'm doing the same thing. Every time he opens a tub, I'm taking a picture. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys are so funny. So
yeah, watch next. It's going to be Facebook Marketplace.
I know. I couldn't believe it. So, but the thing was that made me feel really good is that we actually did pick good stuff. So, you don't really know when you're ordering the stuff or like when it shows up, like how nice it is, because you only see pictures. And, on Alibaba or whatever, and even on All-Star or any of the websites, you just see a picture of it. And unless you're at the trade show or something like that, you don't really see it in person. And so we're kind of ordering stuff blind, and we actually did really well. Like, we got some really good stuff. So that made me feel pretty good.
Like, I just got these in this week.
Oh, those are reversible ones?
Yeah.
Show those, because I have not seen those before. Oh my God, those are so cool. So where did you get those?
From Alibaba.
Okay. And those are a different vendor than Eva, so those are somebody else. And so I've never seen it, and I told David about them, and he flipped his lid because he knows reversible like octopuses and stuff do really well right now. And so I'd never seen reversible boba. That's super cool.
And it feels like a Squishamallow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's cool. I'm gonna have to get that vendor from you. I'll put it I'll get it from you, and I'll put it in the description for people that they can find that vendor, because I've never seen the reversible ones. Those are really cool.
I got the big ones too. Well, I got it's like 11 inches.
Ooh, cool.
I had one in here earlier.
From the same vendor?
Yeah, it came in the same shipment.
So that's the thing, is that a lot of people, when we were at the NBVA and stuff, they were talking about, don't order stuff from China and try to keep it in the States and stuff. And there's a lot of stuff that I order. Like, I order a lot of stuff from every vendor, and I do videos on it and stuff, not from them giving it to me to give away or anything like that. Like, I pay for my stuff. It comes to our house. We talk about it. But like, there's some stuff you just can't get, or you can get a little bit cheaper. But I still try to spread the wealth. So I think as long as you're doing that, it's fine, because we're ordering stuff you can't.
Well, that's been the only thing I've ever ordered from Alibaba.
Yeah.
But I've been wanting bubble tea forever, and I'd been bugging my friend about getting some. And
if you get a boba tea location, you're gonna go absolutely nuts. Like
I've been trying. I have like 3 that I've talked to a couple times, and they're like, well, we don't know. And I'm like, come on, just let's do it.
You take that stuff in there.
Oh, I'm going to.
Yeah, that's a great, to show them, like, this is the kind of stuff I can get and put in the machine to get people super excited, and they'll be like, ooh, that's cool. So
yeah, and it keeps bubble tea in people's minds, so like they have the toy. Oh, I want to go get bubble tea.
Exactly, because it's sitting in their car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll actually send
messaging.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking, don't let me forget, but I'll send you some of the little ones that we got from Eva too, so you can show them some of those too, because those are really cute. They have little legs and feet and arms.
Oh, I got some. I got some from Amazon.
Good. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, those are some of them like bunny or like different animals too.
No, but I've seen
So those. I got both in this like big box. It was like 40 pieces, and it was Some of them are like bears, and then other ones are just plain boba with the feet. And then some of them have faces.
Yeah, the ones we have, they all have faces, I'm pretty sure. And they're like, they'll be like squinting or something like that. They're really cute. But I couldn't, nobody in the US I've seen has the boba tea stuff. So I couldn't get it anywhere. So that's why we ordered it. And
I think LNR has some.
Do they? Okay.
But it's different. So I wanted the reversible ones.
Right. I didn't even know they made those. So when you showed me those today, I was super excited. Or you told me about them. I hadn't seen them. Those were really cute. I got to show Amelia those. She'll go crazy.
And then I also really like these.
What are those?
These are, I just got these in. They're about, I think these are the 5.5 inch. They're like a duck, but big, and they're from Rhode Island.
Ooh, those are really cool. So how much are those?
I don't remember. I have to look. I don't know.
So you're putting those in like your bigger claws?
Yeah.
Okay.
I should have taken, or I don't know how I would show a picture, but like yesterday I went and put some of those out. So I put a few of them in I have a claw that's 30 inches and it's just like the regular size 2-inch ducks. And then I do the small dogs as well. They have a small version of this.
Oh.
And so I put those down below, and then this crane has the shelf. And I put some of the bigger ones that are in the crane behind it, but I put these on the shelf just as a display or decoration.
Oh, that's cute. So those of you who don't know, when we were at MBVA, Jen did an amazing, I think that I learned out of all the seminars that I went to, I learned the most from yours. And she did I don't know if you're going to post it on your YouTube or not, or something like that, or if
we're working on getting it in the back end of the NBVA
website. Oh, great. So if people join the NBVA, they can see your seminar. But she did one all on how to display your cranes, how to make, to set them up, how to make them look good. It was awesome. It was really cool.
Yeah.
She did
every year my seminar is based on kind of like I was talking about earlier. I always try to find the fun in vending or something that's like affecting my life. Like I did a seminar on cleaning when I bought a new route and everything was disgusting. I had to clean it, so I had to find the best ways to quickly clean stuff and also refurbish machines. And so I did one on that, and then just every year it's different things that affect my life or things that I learn. I go into deep dives on information. It's kind of like back in college where you do like your end of term paper. Yeah. So that's kind of what my seminars are.
Well, I wish you did some videos on your restorations, because the restorations of machines that you do and stuff, I mean, they come out absolutely beautiful, and they do not, when you get them, they don't even look close to what they end up looking like. So.
They're a lot of them. And then in my warehouses, they start to get dusty and dirty and bad. And so even sitting in my warehouses, they have to be completely refinished. But nice. That's also a part of vending that I really enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, you really like doing that stuff. You're very crafty, for sure. You got lots of skills.
Well, I studied graphic design, so I love design and I love the art aspect of it.
My wife does too. She likes that kind of stuff. That's cool. Very cool. So tell us something personal about yourself that maybe your customers or people don't know.
So I put it right here so that I could show it, but I draw dogs.
Oh, really? Whoa. Wow.
So this is actually a carving.
Really?
It's a scratch bar carving. But and so this is my dog Allie.
Man.
And so I do those. I have some of them I do on my iPad and I draw. I like to draw dogs. It's like my jam. And I even sell some of them. I've been commissioned to do a couple. So like that's something that a lot of people don't know unless you
I'm gonna
follow
have to
my
tell my wife about that because we have a
one
really cute
Instagram.
dog that definitely we could use a little drawing of. That would be really cool. I'm gonna have to tell that. Man, you've got some talent. That's really good.
Thank
Those
you.
scratch drawings are not easy to do either, because I mean, once you
No.
scratch, that's it. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
yeah,
if you scratch in there, it's permanent.
it's
But
yeah, it's
that's how my brain works. I can't draw in color or I can't use color. I have to be black and white, because just that's how it works. I mean, in school I did color stuff, but now it's like it's therapeutic, I guess. I'm
yeah.
just doing the dog scratch boarding or black and white
That's awesome.
drawings.
Well, I think that it seems like from what I've known of you, noticing now 2 years or year and a half or so, is that your brain's always working. So then that may be a way for your brain to kind of decompress, you know, and get off of
Relax.
all
Yeah,
that stress and all
I
that.
have way too much going on.
Yeah, you do.
Chaos.
You've got a big route and a big business now, so it's pretty cool you took it
Yeah,
over.
and then we do fairs and festivals, my family does, and I get yanked into that. So we sell gourmet chip dip. And so we have 200 flavors of chip dip that we sample and sell at fairs and festivals. Like last weekend, we were at a seafood and wine show at the beach.
Oh man, that's rough. That sounds nice.
So it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. Go 3 days of that, and then the week of vending, and then this next coming weekend we have another event that I get to sell dip at.
We're gonna learn about that really quick starting next week. So we're doing 12 fairs in a row, and so we're gonna be feeling you. I mean, are you doing any of these chip and dip stuff? Are you doing any in California, or are you just staying up north?
No, we only do it in Oregon.
Or only in Oregon? Okay.
Yeah, we used to do 9 fairs. This year we're only doing 4. So it'll be nice. I'm excited to only do 4.
Yeah.
But
See, I have a
I
bad
do love
feeling.
fairs. It's just
See, the kids are all excited, but I'm just wondering how they're excited they're going to be by like the fourth or fifth one. Like they're probably going to be corn dogged out, you know?
Definitely burnout.
Yeah.
Yeah, by like the 3rd day of most fairs, you start talking and you're just like doing your sales pitch. Like nothing else comes out of your mouth. You're just like, I was trying to order food and I started like, you want a loaded potato? Like, I don't know. I got nothing else. I don't even know what I'm ordering. I'll just point.
Right. So what would you say is your biggest success and your biggest failure?
So my biggest success is I would say what I've contributed, I think, to the NBVA. I also think that I have overcome a lot of obstacles with being a one-woman operation most times. My dad does help me, but he's 72, so he's getting up there. But he loves getting out there and working. But I would say that that's one of my biggest triumphs is just how much I get done. I know compared to a lot of other people, it might not seem a lot, but I really think that that's my biggest. And then one of my biggest missteps is getting involved with a management company and also biting off more than I could chew by buying a route. So, like, it's better to have quality over quantity. And I learned that the hard way I bought out 3 different people pretty close together, and it wasn't the best decision that I could have ever made. And I mean, I've come out on the other side, and I learned from it. But there's still things that I deal with all the time from that trauma, I guess, or that mistake.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know on both of those, I know that you and I have had several conversations because, you know, Amelia, you know, because of Amelia and because of the vending and because of that vending is don't want to say it's a man's world, but it's dominated by a lot of men. And so when you have a female that does things not only a lot of times better, but as good as those guys from what I've seen, I mean, that's intimidating to them, and I know you get a lot of flack for it, but you're really good at what you do. And I think that it's starting to change. I can see that there's a change there, and I can see the amount of respect that you've earned. But it's almost like you had to work double. You know what I mean? And that's not really the way it should be. And I hope, Amelia, because of you paving the way, won't have to work as hard as you did to get where you are. But we've had several conversations about that kind of stuff, and it's not real fair and that. But
it really isn't.
No.
Or like when they're like, "Oh, can I talk to your boss?" Or "Can I? Don't you have a tech to fix that?" Or "Where's the guy?" Or like, there's lots of little comments, and it sucks, but it's a lot of times like, "I'm the tech. I'm the guy." That's usually what it is.
Yeah.
Don't you have a guy to fix this? Like, I mean, I could hire one, but I'm just as good. I've certified. I went to Benin classes. I've been in the industry like my whole life. Yes, with cranes it's newer, but I'm good at like figuring it out and solving it. So I am happy that things are hopefully changing. I still think that it's pretty prevalent. That's why I'm really happy I don't have any auto parts stores anymore, because I got a lot of shit from
I can imagine.
I can say that, but I got a lot of crap from people working at them, and it was probably one of the hardest times in my vending career was doing all of those, and I'm really, really happy that I don't have that anymore. So it's like one of my advices to someone, like if you're having a hard manager to deal with or a hard owner, it's not worth it. If they give you so much crap and it's making your life terrible, get rid of it. There's so many other places. Like you want places that you can give good service to, and if you are constantly avoiding going into places, like I have places that I still do that, so I can't say I'm perfect in that aspect, but pull it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Like you can make more money with that piece of equipment at a place that is happy to have you come in and take care of it and enjoy it. Like a great example, there was this lady that my dad had one of the first places that I started helping him with. I had to wear headphones when I went in there because I could not handle this lady. She was so rude, and I few times wanted to give her a piece of my mind, and she just rude. She put in a U-turn machine and then told my dad he had to take out gum. But she put the gum in a U-turn machine that had a candy wheel. And she did all kinds of. She would like grab money out of the when we had to count our money in front of her. She would grab money out of it after we'd already given her money, and try to grab more money. And my dad's like, that's not how it works. Like, when you sell a taco, like the customer doesn't like reach back and grab their money back after they get their taco.
Right.
But anyway, so for my birthday, we got to pull the machine out of it.
That's awesome.
And that was like the best, because I was
I love your dad. He's so awesome.
And he's like, do you feel like pulling it today? And I was like, yeah, really? It's like, it was like a week before my birthday. I was like, that's like the best birthday present ever, because I don't ever have to deal with this lady again.
Yeah,
so,
we only had
my good advice would be, don't let someone dictate your business. Like, yes, you are in their business, and you should give them good customer service. You should be polite. You should respect the other vendors in the place. I think that there needs to be more decorum in our industry, but like, don't stand for people's BS.
Yeah.
Owners
100%.
especially.
Right.
So
Well, and another thing you touched on in your best and worst was the fact of a management company, and I've heard several horror stories from people of getting involved with those types of companies. So if you're thinking about doing that to get into better locations, like maybe a Denny's or something like that, be very careful about getting involved with those companies and the contracts. And I'll say that's about all I'm going to say on that. It's just don't do that unless you have to. That's just
just do your due diligence.
right.
I mean, there's so many places out there. I mean, it works for some people. If you want to get into some really great spots, it can be one of the best things you could ever do. But just make sure that the contract that you are signing, you are okay with fulfilling.
Yep.
And make sure it's in writing. Don't let them say that things are on it that aren't listed on your agreement.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But
So so you kind of said that you love doing bulk. So out of you said that was your favorite. So what do you think your favorite product, I guess, would be of your bulk that you sell?
I would say flat vending. I love the junk food. I love it because it's making me the most money right now.
Really? So more than tattoos?
Yeah. The junk food is where it's at.
Really? So that's weird because where we're at, because we have, the sticker machines we got from Candy Machines, we got the Rhino, three bay machines, and we have junk food, Pokemon cards, and those ice tattoos in our machine. And for some reason, the ice tattoos and the Pokemon cards seem to do the best, but the junk food doesn't do as good as those.
So
but I guess that's
the
just
ice, the ice used to be really popular around here, and it got a lot of vendors were using it. So I think that because of that, the junk food is killing it, and so is the crypto. I wish vending supply was still around, but I really liked BSI's dragons.
Ooh, I bet those would be cool.
My last order from them, I wish I had more of it, because every place I go to that still has it is like this much left or it's gone.
Yeah.
And but Flatline is selling their Ultra Classic, and that's always a good seller for me.
So what are those? What's the Ultra Classic? I don't know that one.
So when I used to buy it from Leanne, it was just like kind of retro-y tattoos, but they look like real tattoos. And I think that is a key when doing the tattoos, is that you get stuff that mimics, so that kids can be like, oh, my mom has a tattoo like that.
Oh yeah.
So it mimics reality, or the real thing. That's why I think that line art tattoo by Flatline, we'll see how it does this next collection, but I was excited about it because I think that it's similar to the Ultra Classic in that girls will be like, oh, that's like a popular style right now. Like,
right.
I'm gonna do that. So we'll see.
I think I'm gonna try those two then, because I didn't know about the Ultra Classic and I didn't know about the line art. So we're getting ready to order something else. So
Flatline has their version of the Ultra Classic, and then they have the VSI's one they bought from them, I guess.
Okay.
And both are really good.
Nice.
But I really like the VSI one that they're selling.
That's cool, because we ran out of the.
And I don't know if you do this or not, but make sure you flip your displays. So like every time you go there, flip your display.
No, that's smart. We have not done that.
Yeah, so it just like it makes it seem like you're putting something else in, but you're not actually putting something else in. And most of yours are kind of like the A&A sticker where you pull out the thing, so it makes it easy to do. A lot of the pinnacles where you have to unscrew the top things, it's a pain
Yeah.
in the butt, so I don't even bother.
No, mine's easy. Mine once, I mean, you just pull it off
So
and
every time just flip your display, or if you have an old version of the display, put that in and
I
it'll
love
change
you,
it up.
Jen. You're the best. You're so smart. Like it's just so cool. Like I mean, you have all you know so much. It's like a big bag of knowledge. I love it. So, what is your best location that you have?
So
That could be the one you like the best.
my best location is now one of my not so great locations. The pandemic really killed it. But it used to be a pizza parlor in a small town, and I'd have to spend like 6 hours servicing that. But now we do it in like 3. So
How many machines are in there?
a lot. And they're Tomies, so they take longer to do. Yeah, the money can just be pulled out and dumped, but they take forever to fill.
Yeah.
Especially when you have to fill every single one. But yeah, that's probably was my best location.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I just added a crane to it, and I got a service call for it today. It was giving out it had 122 credits that just kept just dinging in. It's one of the new little little winners from Pipeline, so I have to figure out what's going on with that. But
it sounds like to me like it's a wire.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
You know, like how because that happened once when we were installing NIAX on one of our machines, and one of the wires that they had put on there, something was loose or something, and it was touching. And so every time it was touching something, it was like ding, 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 and it was giving it credits. And I'm like, what is going on? And so I found out where it was bare or whatever, but it was just, I think it was one they cut off that they figured they weren't using, and they just left it. But it had still had the wire sticking out of it, and it was just touching the metal, and it was giving it credits. And I'm like, well, thank God I noticed that before I dropped it off, and somebody didn't bump it or tilt it a little bit, and then all of a sudden it was just sitting there touching and giving people free plays. But I don't know. I could be wrong.
Mine's 3 hours away, so I'm gonna.
Oh no.
Next Monday, what he did was he unplugged it and turned it around.
Okay.
So he's like, yeah, they got a lot of free toys.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Whatever. It happens sometimes.
Yeah. So what do you see as the next big thing in vending, or what do you think is trending right now?
So the prize locker, the magic key that you love, I do think that is a really good option for a vendor.
Yeah.
Because I subscribe to with bulk like well, it's not my theory. It's Kevin Shambaugh, who is up in Washington, who I've always looked up to. He's like capacity, 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 and it also location, location, location. But capacity is one of bulk vendors' biggest like pluses, that you can put it in there. You could let it sit for 6 months and then come back and just get your money. But I think with cranes, I love the minis, but I don't think it has enough capacity, and I hate going every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks to a location. I have too many places that I can't go there all the time. I need it to be at least once a month. Be better if it was every 3 months, but that's never going to happen. But I just think that the magic key is the closest thing to being able to do that, unless you're taking a normal crane and putting ducks and different things like that.
Right. I just think like there's so much stuff out there when we went to the show that I saw, and that was the one thing. I mean, We bought some Galaxies, which we love, and Amelia is so in love with the Galaxies, and because she hasn't seen a Magic Key in person yet, you know, she hasn't seen one show up yet, because they're coming, but to have a machine that you could either put in eggs, you could put in ducks, you could put in big stuff, small stuff, you know, like medium to small, whatever you want to put in the machine, you can put in there. And then down below is a whole nother feature that gives you 3 or 4 more options, or if you take out one of the other things, you can have 5 different prizes down there. And so you get like the best of both worlds of having a whole 5-tier prize locker next to your machine, and it's all built into it, and it has a crane on top of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's
something that I wish instead of the prize lockers are a huge draw.
Yeah.
But something as a bulk vendor I wish someone would do, and I've told a couple people that are manufacturers this, can you put a change machine down below?
Yeah.
Couldn't you use that extra space and just help us out a little bit so that we aren't having to have a change machine bolted to a wall? It could be on a crane. We could bolt the crane to the wall or hook it to something, but like, why have it take up more space?
Yeah.
If there is that room, let's put a change machine in there and maybe one prize locker.
Right. Well, and Kevin's got that new thing coming out where, you know, he's going to have the bulk machine with the actually can use an IAX reader and stuff. So it's starting. I think we're starting to get there, you know?
Yeah.
But like at Logan's, for example, like they go through so much money in that place with our machines that they're asking us for a change machine. But we offer 3 different ways to pay on all of our machines, except for, you know, of course, the Pokeball and any of the bulk stuff. It doesn't. But so we really don't want to go buy a $2,000, you know, money machine to put in there.
Something you might consider if you can get like a used small one, but instead of offering it to the public to use the change machine, put it behind the counter and having it so that like the hostess could like slip $1 in there or $5. Because I have almost lost locations because people broke the window to try to steal the change machine.
Yeah.
Like they'll be in there to steal the ATM, but they also try to steal my change machine. I had one where I actually had it using like a bike cable. It wasn't just one of the skinnier cables. It was an actual thick one.
Yeah.
And the guy got halfway through it and gave up because he heard police sirens. But I almost lost the location because they were like, well, that adds to the idea that there's a lot of money in here to steal. And it's like, that probably had $300 in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing that holds the change is worth $500.
Well, now what they do is they've asked Amelia when she's done collecting, she goes over to the counter with the manager and they sit there and they count out and she changes out change for dollars with him. And so then
you should look into if your bank will sell you rolls or if they'll give you rolls so that you can just weigh your quarters and then be done with those ones and then just quickly give them rolls. Like I have a machine that rolls all my quarters and then seals it.
Yeah, those are
I know you're trying not to do as much quarters, but like that I have to do that. Like almost every place I go to, they want quarters because Chase is really limited on quarters in Oregon. And my dad takes stuff to Wells Fargo and they are just like so overjoyed when he brings stuff in. Yeah, and now they're starting to charge their merchants, they're starting to charge them $1 for every roll.
Wow.
I mean, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if you want to get it, I mean, you could charge people 25 cents and they're still saving money.
Yeah.
But something to maybe consider is getting them pre-roll. It'll speed up your service a lot too.
So Wells Fargo, Natalie actually has an appointment to go, and she gets back. She's gonna go and because they sell those. I think it's Accu something that I know Matt has one and David has one, and basically just dump the quarters in it and it weighs them and tells you how much there. So they'll take bags of quarters at Wells Fargo now if we sign up for some special thing on our account. And I guess it's just
They'll take up to it'll be $500 bags.
That's what it is. They said $500 bags because I just counted. We got back from getting three locations last night, and I counted 600 and something dollars in quarters I had to roll. And I just have my my really crappy roller or my Royal Sovereign thing, and then I got to roll them. And
I used to have one of those.
Yeah, that's what we have.
I'll hook if you want a good one. There's a guy that sells used ones. Just let me know, and I can. I got my whole system for like $400.
Yeah, because at the show we saw what's the name of it starts with a K, right?
Clop.
Yeah, we went to
there. They make great equipment.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
But it's very expensive.
Yeah, it was pricey.
But it's an investment in your time. Right. It really is, right. And that's another thing that you asked, what have you learned, or what something that you wish you could go back on when we talked about this earlier. But I wish that I would have bought myself a good roller a lot earlier. Yeah. I wish I had the one like Kevin. I really want one like his. I don't know if you've ever seen his video on his roller, but he has one that it seals it, and there's a couple vendors that have them, but they are from Glory. And they start at about $4,000.
Ooh, that's used. Like the one.
Yeah, the new ones are $9,000.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But
you could plug it into your car and you could have it just spitting out rolls. But with those, you have to sort the quarters first.
Well, we don't really get anything in our machines but quarters. So I mean, every now and then, that's randomly. True. I mean,
well, your Pokeball one can get other things. That's the only machine that you have that would get. Well, your candy ones too.
Yeah. So those would be different, but I mean, with our claw machines and everything, I mean, it just goes right through if they're not, if it's not the right thing, and so we're I think, I mean, we could definitely use it. We're starting to get to the point where we're going through so many quarters. I could definitely see that.
So here's here's for just a second. Here, let me grab my. Okay. Oh God, it's too heavy.
Don't break your back.
This was this month's Broken Mech Fund.
Dang.
So, anytime that a non-quarter goes through, it shoots it out the side, and I put it into this jar, and then I take it to the one of my credit unions they have a change machine, so that's where this goes.
Nice.
But that's like a bulk vendor, they get lots of non-quarters.
That's cool. Yeah, I know that Wells Fargo really appreciates
free money.
Yeah, it's cool. So, who are your favorite people to follow in the business, or who do you look up to, or who have you learned the most from in your career?
So I've been pretty lucky. It's probably because I'm a female, and I'll acknowledge that. But I have been taken under a couple of people's wings, and they have spent hours upon hours, teaching me tips and tricks or how to fix something. And so I would say my biggest person that's been a cheerleader for a really long time is Kevin Shambaugh, who's up in Washington. Rick Kokorian. I really look up to him. I think he has a really cool business model. He has a store, and then he also has routes.
He's just a cool guy,
He is. And he's a lot of fun to talk to.
Yeah.
And
that's Rick's Vending for those
people. I talked to him 3 times this week.
Yeah.
And he helps so many people out. He has a vendor that is hurt right now, and he's down in LA area helping him.
That's awesome.
And then who else? So there's a couple people that aren't a part of the NBVA, but they're in my area. So one guy I actually saw today, I sit and talk to him for hours. It's sometimes hard to get away from him, but He is, I wish that he would do YouTube videos because the amount of knowledge he has. His name's Tim, and he's been doing this for, I don't know, 30, 40 years.
Wow.
And I'm slowly buying out his routes.
Oh, cool.
And he's just a really cool guy. And so I'd say that he has helped me the most in my area. And then my dad.
Yeah. Yeah, you got pretty lucky with that one.
Yeah. I did read a few books when I first started on my own. It kind of helped learn what parts can go with what machines for bulk. But other than that, mostly just like people around me.
That's cool.
And then Kim Nygaard, who's in Denver. I think having a really good support system, like you've built a really great support system with doing your talks every week and then having the Discord, like having other vendors that you can call to ask questions or bounce ideas off or just commiserate, because people that aren't in the industry don't understand the weird crap that we have to deal with. And
it's like no other business.
So, yeah, and Kim Nygaard is like my go-to on anything, like I got a bitch about it, or like I found something cool, or just anything like that.
Well, you've been a huge help to us.
And I'm really hoping that Dan Platt and Kevin do a seminar this next year. Just putting it out into the universe. I'm hoping they do one. Because they did one like
you might run for president this year in MBVA. That'd be pretty sweet.
I don't know if I'm eligible this year or not, but I mean, you could try to nominate me.
Heck yeah, I will. You'd be an awesome president. That'd be so cool.
Thank you.
God. Well, just the amount that you've helped us, and I think that, you know, when I was sitting at MBVA and like in between all the seminars and everything else, I was on the Discord, and we love helping people, and that's the one thing that. And especially Amelia loves helping other kids, and I love helping people from like, because we haven't been doing it that long, so like a lot of the mistakes, you know, what you would think, maybe because I'm old and I forget things, but like my mistakes are still fresh. You know what I mean? Like I can remember that just happened to me like 6 months ago, so I feel like people's pain. You know, I'm like, oh God, I was just there. So like for me, it's nice that I can help the people, you know, make it easier for what I went through, and it's just. Your help and everybody's help. I mean, I think that's one thing that's great about this industry is that everybody's been helpful to us, and we try to give back as much as we can, just because it's a lot of fun, and it's like you want people to succeed, and we're not the kind of people that we're competitive or anything like that. Like I don't worry about people stealing our routes and all these other things. It's like, you know, we do a really good job of what we do, we think, and we don't think that we would lose it. And if we did, then they can have it. You know what I mean? Like if they didn't want to be with us, we want to be with them. Just like you said earlier, like if you have a crappy location, then get rid of it. You know, like we'll move on to something else. So I don't know. We're really doing well.
I mean, there is a lot of competition out there, so it can get kind of cutthroat. But I do think the industry is changing in that it used to be a lot more secretive.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's a bad thing that it was secretive, because there was a community that helped people. But I feel like it was a lot less available for like people to just jump into the industry like it is now.
Right.
But I also think that's partially because a lot of people that have run routes for years, their kids just aren't interested in doing it. And so it's opened up the field for a lot of people to get in there. But I do think that there are pluses and minuses to that, because like in my area, it's hard for me to put cranes out. Because there was a gentleman that put cranes out and no one ever won.
Oh.
And he would put plush that was too big for the claw to even pick up.
Yeah.
And so there's this mentality that those things are a ripoff. And it's like, no, like you have to have the strength so that it can pick something up and win. And winners build, or winners bring winners. Like, you want repeat customers. But anyways, that's another tangent. But
Well, and David taught us that from the very beginning. He was one of the first ones that told me. I think he's the one that told me in the beginning. He said, he goes, winners bring players, players bring winners. You know, the more they win, the more they play. So like, make sure you're not, you know, doing 1 in 20. Like, make sure you're doing your settings so that they win, and then other people see them win, or they go back because they won before, and maybe they don't win the second time, but they don't feel as bad about it. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, be smart, you know. So we learned that in the
well,
beginning.
making sure that your margins are okay so that you can do that. Buy enough quantity so it's cheap enough, and just make it work.
Yeah, 100%. So, what book, movie, or television show has shaped your career the most?
In relating to bulk, or in relating to
Like, how it could be money related, it could be the way you live your life, it could be how you run your business based on maybe a movie you saw or somebody you looked up to, or a story, I don't know, something like that, or a book, or you know, some people read like, you know, Rich Dad Poor Dad, or you know, one of those kind of
I have read a lot of those, a lot of all his authors and stuff. I would say the 10x, or I would say that there was one about fear and overcoming fear. And I also think Malcolm Gladwell has a lot to do with how I perceive merchandising. And so I've read all of his books, Blank, The Tipping Point.
Those are all really good.
I would say that his podcasts are great. But I would say, probably to answer your question, Malcolm Gladwell is probably a big contributor to how I run my business, or how I think about my business, and how I go at things at a little bit different way than other people. Like, I look at, like with bulk, I always try to look at what is the most I can sell this item for, and what is my age group that I'm trying to hit. I'm trying to hit the biggest age group, and I'm trying to have an item that I get for the cheapest, and what is the highest I can sell it for, and let's find that, you know, that supply and demand kind of point.
That's smart, especially with bulk, with demographics. You know, it's like, and I struggle with that too with the claw machines, because we ended up completely changing the product that was in one of our boba shops, because we went back to the boba shops and we had in there like fidget poppers and, you know, like all those kinds of toys, and like those little wiggly caterpillars and stuff, and like all the kids that were playing the machine were like, you know, 12 to like 20 years old, and we're like, I looked at Millie, I'm like, this is not gonna fly here. You know, they're just buying, if they're playing it, they're just playing it because it's a claw machine, but they're not trying to really win anything that's in there that they want. So we ended up completely switching the machine around, and we went up to $1 because we were at 50 cents, and then we ended up putting in stuff that they'd want to win. A lot of Pokemon, a lot of, you know, the purses and the things like that they,
So do you think by upping at the dollar that you've added value to what you have in the machine? You perceive it as those items are worth $1 versus, oh, here's 50 cents. I think that a lot of times how you price stuff plays a huge mind game with people. Like, I tried doing the $2 win every time, and it's harder to pull the $2 out of a mom's purse than just doing $1 and have it be like every other time that it's strong enough. But I think that, like, if you can, like with the stickers, a lot of people are still doing tattoos and stickers for 50 cents. But in my mind, I think they're doing a little better with the up, but I think that you're adding value by having it priced a little higher.
Yeah.
Like you.
Well, I think that what we ended up doing is we learned it from David, and he's the one that taught me from Extreme Vending because he's been doing $1 since forever, and we started at 50 cents because the first prizes that we got were like these really cheap prizes, and so I told Amelia because that's all we could afford. Like when we got it, they came with our machines, and they were like poppers and stuff, and it actually was a free mix that we got with them. Actually, it wasn't free, but that's what came with the machines. And so I told her, we can't charge $1 for this. Like, they're not worth that. And so we started them all at 50 cents just because that's what we had. And then when we ordered the stuff from Eva and we got all those prizes and stuff, and I'm like, finally we can charge more. So what we ended up doing is like we switched every machine except for the one at Logan's because we have the Galaxy that's $1. So we left the little one at 50 cents with the little cheap toys in it, and then we have the bigger one with the dollar stuff in it. But our sales went up like 30 to 50% when we went up to $1 and put in cooler prizes. So it worked out for us. But what we ended up doing is we went inexpensive prizes, and then we went nicer prizes, and then we sprinkled more of the inexpensive, and then so we kind of like David calls it like making a cake, but like that's kind of what we did. Is
I talked about that in my seminar.
Yeah. And like you did, and like and Amelia does what I told her about what you said, so she makes sure they're all facing forward, and like she's very good at it now. She's gotten it down, but that's how we kind of make up the difference in the price. So we end up making a little more money because we do have some inexpensive prizes in there that they might still win, but it also fills the space up a little bit, and so
it's like cutting it. I do that in bulk too.
Yeah.
So like on my fidget mix, I don't buy a fidget mix from a company. I buy the products I want in my fidget mix, and then I mix it
yourself.
And so that way I have more control over what my price of that mix is versus someone telling me, oh, this is a 50-cent mix. Oh, this is a 75-cent mix. And it's like, I want to do $1 mix, but I want to have a good value, but I also can't be giving away the house.
Right. And that's what we did. That's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
You told me that when I was ordering the stuff from Eva, and that's what I ordered, and then that's what I told you they were doing out in the garage, was just pulling a little bit of this and a little bit of that, throwing in there, making their own mix, and she enjoyed, well, her and Sam enjoy doing that more than getting something already mixed anyways. So like, it works out really well.
And then they're putting their stamp on it.
Yeah. 100%.
That it gives you ownership. It sets you apart from other people. I think that's super important, especially like if you had a lot of competition, like being able to be like, I can put what you like, I can make it fit your location. Or like if the theme of the mini is like under the sea, having some under the sea stuff in there. And just like really like putting your like, I don't know, I think the customer appreciates that.
Well, she has a little bag that she has just boba in, that when we go to the boba shop, she brings that inside, and she puts extra boba in those machines and stuff, and the people go nuts for it. Like they think it's the cool. So she's got it all worked out. She's doing really well. I'm very proud of her. She's doing really good. So
I'm excited to actually get to meet her next year.
Next year she's going to Vegas.
I'm about to drive down this summer to.
I have a feeling we should meet in the middle somewhere, because I know I'd love for her to meet you too. I think it'd be great. So if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
So I've been giving this a lot of thought because this is something I have never really contemplated, which I know is weird. I think it would be invisibility.
I've heard that one so far. Why?
Yeah, I don't really like to I like to be a chameleon. I like to just when I go service, I wear like Nike stuff, and I don't like to draw a lot of attention to myself. I wear my work pants with knee pads in them, and I just kind of go in there, do my thing, and get out.
Yeah.
And it would be great if I could just be invisible and just pull the money and load the machine and go to my car and then come back and pay the commission and just
Right.
have it appear for them.
That's a good one. Nice.
Yeah. So I think that would be what I would want. I was gonna send you a picture of you were talking about pricing your two cranes.
Yes.
And that were next to each other. And I have one that I'm pretty proud of.
Okay.
You can edit this part.
No. What I'll do is send it to me, and then I'll put it actually up on the video, so people can see it.
I should have had it ready. I didn't even think about it till you
That's
mentioned.
all right. Send it to me, and I'll pop it up there for everybody. So, what is one idea that experts say in our field that you disagree with?
So I disagree with people saying that the quarter has a very, very short life left in it. I very much think that there'll probably be some legislation to make it so that you can't discriminate on what type of money is used. There's only, I think it's 8 now states that have laws on it. I know Oregon's not one of them right now. That you have to take cash, and so Oregon can say cards only. But I know that like New York is one. There's, like I said, 8, and I think there'll be more. I hope. I mean, there is the other side of it in that the Fed's trying the digital payments. But I think that the quarter has a longer life than what a lot of people in our industry think. Because I know that a few of them are like, oh, and in 4 years it's gone.
No.
And I think it's gonna be longer than that. And I think it could be like 10, 15, but I don't think that it's free.
Right.
Because they were saying that 10 years ago.
Yeah, I know they were. That's what I was going to say too. So, how do you deal with rude or unhappy business owners? And do you have a story about it? You kind of told one.
So that's one. I really work hard in general in life to just be a good person, and so I don't have a ton of bad stories. I think that lady at the Mexican restaurant was probably the worst. I have had one buffet that got a little handsy with money too. And I have had some places break into machines. I have a place that I still have that they put their own locks on my spiral. And yeah.
Really?
And yeah, pretty nice of them.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, you didn't come this month, so we decided that we wanted to put our own key or our own lock on it, so when we needed quarters, we could just open up the machine. And so I switched out the spiral and put a different one in with a higher security lock on it. Because normally I would have just pulled it.
Yeah.
But this place does, so it does decent.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just like say screw you, but it came very close to it.
So let's say my special power was teleportation, and I could teleport to your house right now with the camera. What would I find in your fridge?
So my fridge in my kitchen.
Yeah.
My parents live upstairs, and I have the basement. I basically only have beverages in my fridge because I cook in their kitchen. So right now there's a lot of seafood.
Ooh.
Because we just got
back you're in Oregon.
The coast.
Yeah.
So we always have crab. But I have Red Bull. I have like every beverage you could ever want in my fridge.
Nice.
But yeah.
Very cool.
I basically drink water and Red Bull. But there's a lot of other ones that are in there. For when other people come over.
So what do you think your favorite part of the business is, and what's your least favorite part of the business?
So my least favorite part is paperwork. My also least favorite is fixing cranes. My favorite, I mean, it kind of goes along with my summer. I love merchandising. I love finding the new thing, like we talked about. I'd say those are my favorite things. I love merchant. I like fixing bulk. So I hate fixing cranes, but sometimes it kind of makes me happy when something's that sounds weird, but I love fixing bulk. It just like it's so satisfying because it's like I know I can easily fix this. It's something stupid. Some kid put something like in the mech, or like I don't know, one of the prongs of the wheel is like missing, so it needs a new wheel, or just like I don't know. I love solving problems, but not with cranes.
Yeah. Well, we just got those new cranes from Grant. They're new old cranes. We got a toy soldier and a big choice. And we know nothing about big cranes. So we've had to learn the hard way really quickly about big cranes. And like the little ones, I mean, they're really easy to fix. I mean, and take apart and stuff. But the big stuff is like a whole different ball game. So we're learning the hard way about that. But they're not that hard. I think the hardest thing for me is that, you're leaning in and over and around. And so like I'm old and I can't really
you have
reach.
To go from the front to the side usually. The front.
Yeah, and it's side. That stuff gets to me. But as far as like it's been pretty easy fixes, but it's a lot of movement that I can't really do very much anymore. So
well, a lot of the newer big cranes aren't like that.
No.
It's the older ones. I have a lot of smart cranes, and so there is the old, because they're all the older stuff with dip switches.
Yeah.
It really helped. I took the Betson class. It's really it's expensive. But I think knowledge is priceless, and I did learn a lot on being able to fix those kind of cranes.
I would love to take that because that's what ours are, basically.
So they have it right before the NBVA show. It's like a couple days before it. So you might look into it. Actually, there are a lot in the like Sacramento area or in LA. They usually do those classes a couple times a year.
I did not know that. I'm gonna have to look into that because
look up Betson University.
Yeah, because there was, like there's just little things you just don't know, and like Grant was like, because it was set for 50 cents when we got the machine, so wherever the location was they had before, it was at 50 cents, and we wanted $1.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, we need to fix the dip switches or whatever, and he's like, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go, and he goes, well, did you unplug it or turn it off? And I said, no. And he's like, unplug it and turn it off, or turn it off or unplug it. And I'm like, why? And he goes, because you can't be flipping dip switches with the machine on. You need to turn the machine off, flip the switches, and turn it back on, and you could fry your motherboard. I'm like I would have never known or thought about any of that stuff without him. And I mean, I couldn't believe,
in my class, there were people that were like in the industry for a long time, and they're like, I didn't know that. Oh, that's the proper way to do that. And it's like, well, I'm glad that I took this early on so that,
Well, I'm glad I have Grant. Otherwise, I mean, I could have fried it. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
yeah.
The nice thing about those though is you could just pull the board and put a new board on. It's a pain in the butt.
But you got to buy a new board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
those boards probably last quite a long time. I'm guessing they probably don't go bad very often. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how expensive they are, but like he was nice enough. I mean, he sent us
They're like
extra
five.
claws. He sent us extra coin mechs. He sent us extra boards. I
Oh
mean,
wow.
yeah, I mean, he was super great. I mean, Grant's awesome. So
Yes.
if you had a time machine, what would you do with it? Would you go forward and would you go backwards?
I would probably go back, and I think that I would have started my route when I was in high school,
Ah,
and I think that I would also. My dad didn't do sticker machines, and in the 90s, those were like hand
yeah.
over fist people making money.
Oh yeah.
And I wish that we would have had sticker machines in the 90s. And so I think I would probably go back and add sticker machines to each one of his locations, especially during that time period, because he had like family bargain centers where these huge stores.
Oh yeah.
And so I probably would have done that.
That's awesome.
Relating to vending.
Right.
That would be my vending time machine.
Nice. So what
Or
advice?
try to like get the lottery numbers. Get some lottery numbers, you know.
I think that I still would want to be in this business, even if I did win the lottery. I just love it so much. Like I'm having so much fun, and the people that I've met, and I'd still want to do this. I mean, I would just quit my normal job and do this for fun. You know what I mean? Because I wish I could do this for fun, and this would be my normal
I just
job.
wish that it was easier to move.
Yeah.
The nice thing is you can travel because
Yeah.
your machines are still making money, but you can't really move if you want to move.
That's true. Yeah, you can't exactly pick up and move your whole route. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, what advice would you give to new or even older business owners or vendors who are starting or are in this business that you learned that you think people should know?
Oh, the list is so long.
Go ahead, start it.
So some of the things we mentioned earlier, like not always the best idea to get into a lot of the same kind of locations, like chains and different things. I know that you've had success with them, but it's not like you have 100 of them or 130 of them.
Yeah.
I also would recommend making friends with the vendors around you. Not every vendor is nice in our industry. Definitely not. I know you're familiar with that. But there are a lot of really nice people, and I think that my life would be a lot different if I hadn't reached out to a lot of the people in my area. And it's paid me back tenfold by doing that. Especially when they've had issues or this older guy that was up in Seattle area, his machine got broken into. So I was able to like kind of salvage it and let him know, because the Regal that it was at, they weren't going to contact him. And so I was able to like, I knew he had this certain kind of lock, so I put a lock on it. And I had the manager like take the money that was still in there and put it in the safe. And so like by doing those little things, I feel like you're putting money in the bank for karma, but you're also creating someone that's going to be an ally and looking out for your equipment.
Yeah.
And I also think that it kind of is similar with the employees at a location. I think if you are nice to the employees, if you see that, you know, they have kids, like give them something to give their kids. And just mention, hey, you know, will you keep an eye on my machines? Like by doing those little things, like it buys you time in the location that it buys you time later on, because you're not going to have as many things broken. You're going to have someone watching out for your machine so it's not going to get stolen. What are other things? Getting a good vehicle to do servicing is huge. And don't just be like, oh, I'll get one in like 5 years. Why not just get one? I mean, you want to make sure that you want to be in this industry, because this industry is not for everyone, and people think that it's going to be easy, but you are going to get back problems. You just are going to not always be happy with being on the road, and before you get into it, you want to make sure it's something you love. And so yeah, those are my big things on what I wish I would have known. And I love this industry, but there are a lot of times when it is very hard. And so like I said earlier, creating that network that you can reach out to that will give you a boost, like, hey, guess how much money I made today? I found 3 locations today. How many did you find? So like having that a little bit of competition is, I think, a good thing. I'm very competitive. You said that you're not very competitive. I am very competitive. And so having people that challenge you, I think is critical for keeping the ball rolling, especially since it's just me usually. I do hire someone to help me every once in a while, and she keeps me motivated too sometimes. Are like, oh, how many can we get done today? I don't know. That's my list of.
No, those are good, and there was 2 that I think are really important. I mean, they're all really important, but 2 that kind of touched me because they both recently happened to us, and one of them was we went to the mall near us, and we went in there, and somebody had some of those Mega Mini machines that were, the ones that you get from China that David uses, and they're all over the mall because she wanted to go into the pho place because she wanted to have that location because she has another pho place and she wanted the one in the mall. And I'm like, well, it looks like somebody's already in here, and I couldn't find a number on the machine or anything, and because I figured, I'll call them and just tell them, do you care if we go into the pho place? Because I don't want to, I mean, I don't really need to do that, but I told her, I said we probably should, because maybe, I don't know, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, and all of a sudden we pop a machine somewhere near somebody else, and because he's in the main area of the mall. And I couldn't find a phone number or anything, and the next day I was on the Discord, and I got this message, and it said, like, the title of the message was like, I think you're near me, or something like that in the message. Sure enough, the guy went to the pho place that we have in town and saw our machine there, and he's in the Discord, and he watches all our videos and whatever, and saw her machine, and he goes, I'm 20 minutes from you. And I said, how crazy is it that in our Discord of, what is it now, 1,400 people or something now, we're almost to 1,500, that you're 20 minutes from me? Like, that's just insane to me, like, across the whole United States, that here's this guy that's 20, and he goes, I love you guys. He's like, I watch all your videos. He goes, I've been doing this almost 3 years. He's like, I have like 50 locations, and he says, I'm all in this area right near you. And I said, it's so funny, we saw your machines. And I said, I told her, I said, we got to call this guy because I don't want to just drop a machine in the pho place. He goes, you guys can go in the pho place. We don't care. And I'm like, well, I don't want to, I don't want to upset you. And he goes, no, man. He goes, there's more than enough to go around. He's like, I'm a police officer, and he goes, so I know everybody in the community. He's like, if you ever need anything, call me. He goes, I'll watch out for your machines. And I'm like, how cool is that? You know what I mean? Like, because he could have been like the other guy that we had, that we went into a place and upset this guy and whatever, and like a whole other vendor that we dealt with.
Oh, yeah.
And the exact opposite situation that we had, which we got permission, and then the other person was upset.
I think that's mostly because that other guy was an amusement guy.
Yeah, he was, and he's got a bunch of these restaurants up and down, and he's got a contract, and we didn't know. We just asked, and they said yes, and we came in, and so, but anyways, this guy was like the nicest guy, and we're like, that is so
That's
cool.
awesome.
He goes, I've actually messaged you before and asked you questions about stuff, and he goes, you've been super helpful. And I said, I had no idea you were 20 minutes from my house. I said, that is so cool. And he's like, no, it's great. And he's like, hey, I'm doing this event next weekend. You should come by and see my booth. And, and I'm like, I'd love to. And so Amelia and I are going to go see him this weekend. But it's just like having those relationships. He's like, if I ever see anything or I have a spot that I think would be good for you, I'll let you know. And I said, same here. And, and I said, I'm just going to tell you the locations from now on that we're going to go to ask. So then we're not both asking, and I said, or if you've already been there, then you can fill me in or whatever. But it was great. And so I think that's a huge one. I think that is just, if you see machines near you, pick up the phone and call the people and just say, hey, I'm also here. And if you need anything, I'll help you. And you could, definitely do what you did and help somebody out. I thought that was so cool. And then
yeah, it can get messy. So you want to make sure that you have a line that you're like, we share information, but not too much information.
Right.
But
right.
Yeah, that's it. It's night and day as far as like, that if you share a location, they'll keep an eye out on yours. Or like, I have the guy that I've been buying out. I have a few locations where we both have equipment, and I'll be like, hey Tim, your toy explosion is completely empty. What are you doing?
Right.
And he like services way more often than I do. But it's just funny because I love giving him a bad time. Like, what are you slacking? Like, but yeah.
Well, that's what this guy said. He got into day shift. And he goes, I have to drive around. He goes, I've got to be parked at certain locations anyways throughout the day and do my route. And so he goes, I just go and check out my machines and, do my route and go say hi to everybody. And I'm like, that's so cool, man. And he's like, he goes, well,
he probably shouldn't be admitting that he's using.
No, but I mean, like he was. And he's like, because he goes, I have a lot of free time. He goes, I just basically, that's what we do is we just drive around. So he's like, I make friends with all these people and I go visit them. And he said, he goes, I actually go into that parking lot where your pho place is every Friday at like 11 o'clock. I'm there anyways. He goes, if you want me to check on your machine for you, I will, or collect and send it to you or whatever. And I'm like, no, that's cool. And I'm like, that's really cool. And he goes, I know you got NIACs on your machine. So he goes, I know you know how much you're making. I'm not going to cheat you. And I go, well, I don't think the police are going to steal my money. You know what I mean? Like, so, but yeah. It was just really cool. I'm like, that's so cool. I told Amelia, I'm like, isn't that awesome? She's like, that is cool. Because he was doing like,
my dad has a couple laundromats that are owned by a police officer, and he services my dad's kiddie rides. He just sends my dad a check every couple months.
Oh, that's cool.
They don't make much, but like, right. But yeah.
Well, the other thing you touched on too, which is kind of a sad subject for us, is that we had a Prius. And we were getting like 68 miles a gallon on our Prius, and we loved that. That was our collection vehicle, and we wrecked it just before Christmas. We got in a wreck, and so we've been sad because we're trying to find another car. So that's another thing that I wish we had, because we've been driving an Acadia around, and it's horrible gas mileage. So get yourself, like David got an electric car, 2 of them actually, and he's like, it's the best thing I ever did. He goes, I don't know how much money I've saved on gas. So
I carry so much weight that I have to. So my van was totaled in December, on December 5th, and I still haven't gotten the check from the insurance.
Oh no! So what are you collecting? What are you collecting?
So, for almost 2 months, they rented me a car, and then after that, they're like, unless you want one, you get to pay it. Or if you want one, you have to pay for it. I was in a Chevy Bolt. Literally the smallest car that is on the market. Well, it's not on the market anymore. They don't make them. But I loved it. But literally we like shoved plush. I only did cranes with it because you can't really do bulk locations with it. But we were like filling the back seat with plush and ducks and stuff to go fill cranes.
Right.
But right now I'm using my dad's van when he's not using it. So it's a little difficult. I'm like moving show stuff out and then moving it back in and then moving it out. So it's been annoying, but we're trucking along.
Nice. It sounds like us.
I'm either gonna get a Sprinter or a Transit. I don't know which one.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, those are really nice.
Well, I had a. I don't know if you saw
They
my
make an
video
electric
of my
one.
tour. It's too the battery isn't have a long enough charge.
Oh.
Like I wouldn't be able to go a whole day without having to sit for a couple hours.
Yeah. Well, now they charge
But
like
I had a police.
now they charge in like 30 minutes. So you could eat lunch. You know, and charge
That's
it.
true.
And
That's
then
true.
go do the second half.
But don't you think it would get less because I carry so much weight?
No, because those are designed to carry a
I'll
lot.
have to look into it. My brother was like, he's all about all the new cars and stuff, and he's like, if you were gonna do it, you should wait like 2 years.
Well, I don't know. I think you're stupid if you don't buy an electric car nowadays, because to me, like, I mean, we are saving hundreds of dollars a month with our Prius, and it was nice.
My mom's Tesla comes in next week.
Ooh, nice. She's probably been waiting for that for like 2 years, right?
6 months.
Oh, that's not bad. It used to be 2 year wait for those things. Nice.
Well, you probably see them all the time on I-5.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like truckloads of Teslas coming up.
Yeah, it's crazy because it was 2 years. That's what we were looking at before we got the Prius. We wanted a Tesla, and then it was like couldn't get them. It was a 2 year wait. We're like, oh, well, I guess we're not getting that then. So what do you think is for you next? What's your next big thing you're working on, or what do you see as you doing next? What's next
so
for
my
JennVend?
goal is to add like 40 either minis or magic keys to my route. And I would say I would like to have that done within the next 6 months.
Nice.
So my problem isn't finding the locations. It's like getting them ready and out. That's my biggest thing. Is I'm great at locating.
Yeah.
I just don't have the time. Like I'll get bulk spots, and I'm like, I really don't want to set up a machine right now. Like I just need to go collect.
I've noticed, maybe it's just me, but like the first one that I got, the first mini that we got, well, over a year ago now, it was a lot to get it out. Like it was a lot to set it up and the wire RNIacs, which came later, but like to get it set up and ready and to figure it all out took a long time. And we just got in all those galaxies from Grant, and it was like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I mean, you know, then it's like to unsnip everything, set it all up, throw the plush in there, go inside, and then set up my settings, and it was ready. Oh, you have to screw in the top because it has that little marquee on the top that you have to screw in. So maybe 30 minutes, and it was ready to go. On location, like not even like, because we still had it in the cardboard, and we delivered it there, took the cardboard off, and it was done. So I think that
Don't you think that the coin thing underneath is so annoying to get on there? Because don't you have the coins go into the bottom?
And it's even worse on the Galaxy because it has two of them right next to each other.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's worse. So that actually took Sam probably because I shouldn't say, well, if you were just by yourself, but I should say 45 minutes because Sam worked on to getting those quarters in for 15 minutes before you could get them both in there. Because they're right next to each other. So the one that's inside, you know, you lift it up and you got to stick the quarter in there. You can't get to it very easily. So what he actually figured out, which was smart.
Oh, I'm talking about the little diverter in the bottom of the mini so that you're not getting the coins from the drawer. Like, do you guys take the money out of the drawer, though, don't you?
No, some we do, some we don't. So the ones that we collect longer time, you know, like that we wait longer, it goes down to the trough in the very bottom. The ones that we go, because like some of them we have to go every week or every 2 weeks, otherwise, because they just, I mean, they're so busy. So,
yeah.
But the other ones, yes, like grocery stores and stuff, we have it go down to the trough in the very bottom. So you just take out that little metal plate and it just falls through. So what part are you talking about that's hard to get?
Oh, so the new one that I just got, the ocean one, it has a different size container, and so you have to there's this like thing that diverts it down into the trough.
Oh.
And so you have to like hold it in there, and then I have a long nut driver, and I'm able to like get 2 of the 3 screws.
Oh, I
The
see.
second one I did, I had Alicia hold it, tip it,
So you
and
could
got
see.
down, and yeah, but it still took me a while to get that because I kept dropping the nuts and stuff. But
that's something new then. They didn't have that on before on the Golden Houses. You just in the drawer, you just unscrewed the fork.
Yeah, you just pull that out.
And then fell right through, just like the candy machines ones. So it was easy. Like we didn't have to do anything to it. And the one
So
thing
I recommend buying a long extension for your nut driver, and then magnetize your socket.
Yeah.
And or nut driver, and it'll be a lot easier. And then I also really like my little rigid compact drill because it starts when you press, when you have pressure.
Oh,
so
that's neat.
It only will like start turning when it is gonna make contact and start screwing it on.
Wow.
So
we've had to learn. We learned from Grant, actually. He's taught us. He gave me a list of tools. So like his favorite tools. He like sent me a whole Amazon list of. He goes, you need this, 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 and this, and he goes, you're set. Those are the things you need. And so like, there's things that I didn't.
I did a seminar on it one year.
Did he really? Oh my God, it was awesome. Like, dude, that's the best tool ever. You know, I wish I would have known. But like, there's so many little parts from my big fat hands, like won't get inside there. And luckily, Amelia, you know, she has little ones, but she can't tighten anything because her fingers aren't strong, but they're small. You know what I mean? So like, we get the combination of just getting started, and then I'll wrench. You know,
yeah.
It's like we have to do it like a team. But anyways. So yeah, so we learned that too. But I don't know.
And then always carrying a pocket. I always carry a pocket knife on me that has a screwdriver. My one that I have right now has a screwdriver and a scissors.
Oh, nice. Like a Swiss.
And I used to always carry sorry, I just spaced. Not a wrench. Whatever. There's a few tools that I always make sure that I have with me, and usually on my person. So I always make sure I have my pocket knife and this other tool that I can't even think of right now.
The best tool that I just bought, and it's only because we've never done them before, and I didn't even think about needing it, was Sam and I. Grant sent us a bunch of extra rubber balls that he had, you know, those Nambi balls, because we didn't have any. And I ordered some, but mine hadn't shown up yet. So he sent me a bunch, and we had to put them in the bigger machines to fill the space so we could, you know, because I didn't have a lot of plush to get started. So we so we went to Harbor Freight, and they had the best thing ever.
Oh, jeez.
Because we were going to buy one of those ones you plug into the car to air up the balls, you know? And they actually make one that is battery powered. It's their red whatever, and you put the battery on it, and you just pull the trigger, and you can blow up them like anywhere you want. So like we went inside the diner where, you know, like they're blowing up all these balls, and I'm like, this is the best thing ever. And then like you bought the bigger battery, you got like a nut driver or like a impact drill with it for free, and we're sort of like, we got a free impact driver, and so me and Sam were just so excited. We're like, so they was there in like their faces, like they were just so excited to blow up these balls. They thought that was the coolest thing that we had, you know. So that was my tool and it was only $24 for the tool, and then I think the battery was $60, but you got the free impact driver. So really, it only came out to like $100 for everything. But like I was like, that's the best $100 I've ever spent, because we would have been in the car like trying to blow up, you know, plugged in the cigarette lighter.
Do you have a tool kit? Like, do you use a certain kind of tool? Like, a rigid or like a Ryobi or Milwaukee?
I've always had DeWalt, and so like my impact and my drill were always DeWalt. And the last set I bought, I was really depressed because I bought like it was a kit with an an impact and then a drill. And for some reason, the DeWalt drill never tightens down fully, like on the drill bits. So you end up screwing like
You
a little
still
bit.
have those batteries though?
Still have the batteries. Yeah.
Because the DeWalt air inflator is really good.
Oh, really? Well, I already bought.
So is the. Yeah, well, you already got one.
Yeah.
But when that one wears out, because it's Harbor Freight, I love Harbor Freight, but for certain things. Or the Milwaukee one.
Okay.
So my friend has like every type, and so I've gotten to try all the different air compressors for the knobby balls, because usually that's what I get stuck blowing up at his arcades.
Right.
And one time I even had a pump where I had to pump up the freaking never again. But the Milwaukee one and the DeWalt one are really good. Nice. I have a Ryobi one.
I didn't even know DeWalt made one, and I just went in there. We went in there just to buy like one of those, like they make them for cars. You just plug in the cigarette lighter, and I'm like, let's just get one of those. They're probably cheap. And then we saw that, and we're like, that's like the best thing ever, because like, oh, you can actually take it inside.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I'm like, and it wasn't real loud, and so I said, because there was nobody around us, and I'm like, but even if we're in a place, I told him, I said, just stick it inside of the claw machine and like kind of close the doors a little bit and just blow them up real fast.
Your own sound booth.
Yeah, a little sound booth inside there, and he started laughing. He's like, oh, Dad, you're the best. I go, it's just so cool. And we were so excited. It's the little things you can get excited about. But we have a lot of fun. The kids have a lot of fun. And like the oldest son, he goes with us now too, but he just goes to eat. He just wants to come and eat the food. And so he gets all excited because he goes to Logan, gets all the good food and stuff. So, or boba or
That's what
whatever.
my brother is about. My brother will be like, oh, just like call me when you're almost done. Like if he knows we're going to eat at the place.
Right.
Be like, when you're almost done, give me a call and I'll meet you there.
Yep. That sounds about like the oldest one too. Yeah. So any final thoughts you want to leave with our viewers?
Just be kind and enjoy vending. It can be a really great business. It's definitely not for everyone. It's a lot of work, and a lot more work than a lot of people think it's going to be. And don't expect it to just be a side hustle. It can be, but it's not. I mean, it can start out that way maybe, but it's not. And join the NBVA. Definitely a great organization. There's a lot of really experienced people, and it's a good time. There's a lot of fun things, and I'm working on the new member binder that I need to send out. So if you have things you want to learn about in the comments, put some things you want to learn about in bulk vending, and I can maybe add that to our binder that new members get. Awesome.
Well, thanks for joining us. Say goodbye to everybody. Bye, JennVend. Thank you, Jen.
I had fun.
Yay. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.